we are. We return now to our interview with the Academy Award-winning filmmaker Michael Moore. He talked about the night in March of 2003 when he won the Oscar for his film Bowling for Columbine. It was just a few days after the launch of the invasion of Iraq, and he publicly criticized President Bush and the war as he accepted the award. Michael Moore talked about the backlash against him.
I went back to the hotel room that night, made the mistake of, my wife went to bed, and I stayed up with the remote control. In LA, after the Oscars, it's only 9 o'clock in the evening. So every local channel has a post-Super Bowl show, and every local I just went on, well, that's the end of Michael Moore. Why would he do that? Well, that's the end of his career. No one's going to give him a job here. I mean, every channel was saying that. And I watched that literally for an hour. And by the time I went to bed, I believed it. I believed that was it. I'm toast. We got back to Michigan. Our house was vandalized. Horse manure spread everywhere. Signs on the trees telling us to move to Havana and everything else, which when you live in Michigan in the winter, that actually doesn't sound so bad. And then life got, I decided to say just to hell with it, and 15 months later, in those 15 months, I made Fahrenheit 9/11, and it was made during this time of constant death threats, constantly being attacked physically, and I've told you some of this before. I don't really like to talk about it publicly because I don't want to encourage nuts to. But eventually, they had to put. I had a total of. It got up to 9 bodyguards on me, 3 per shift, 24 hours a day, living with us. There was the guy in Nashville that came, jumped up on the stage with a knife. There was a guy in Portland that had a metal pipe coming at me. There was a guy in Fort Lauderdale who was just walking out of Starbucks and saw me on the sidewalk and became livid and took the lid off his hot scalding coffee and threw it in my face. The bodyguard was he was so fast, he put his face in front of mine to catch it, and got second. We had to take him to the hospital, but not before he took the guy down on the sidewalk and handcuffed him. But and then there was the guy who was going to blow up our house, and he was making his practice bombs in Illinois, and one night, and one went off accidentally. He wasn't hurt. The neighbors heard it. They called the cops, and they came there, and they saw all the materials and the list of people whose homes he was going to blow up. And it was Janet Reno, Rosie O'Donnell, Hillary, and me. And how I made it on the lesbian list, I don't know, but but Girlfriends magazine the following year named me Man of the Year. So it's the lesbian magazine. So no, I try to laugh about it because, anyways, he was convicted and went to the federal penitentiary. And as I've said to you privately, I've wondered at times if I had it all to do over again, whether I actually would. Because I don't know if it's been worth it personally. I don't think it's been good for my health. I don't think it's been fair to my family to have to live in fear, to my 89-year-old father who lives alone, who has to live with that fear, and all the security apparatus that has to be put in place to protect them. And if the honest answer, I'd like to give you the brave answer, but the honest answer is I'm not so sure I would do it again, having gone through what I went through at that time. And I say that only because I'm human, and I'm every bit as frightened of not being able to finish my life as any of you would be. So, somehow I pushed through it. I have some very good friends and a wonderful family, and And so many, you know, all of you and the people that keep going to my movies and send me lots of words of encouragement, and all my Twitter followers. So I'm grateful for that, and I persevere and keep going. And I don't know what I'm going to do next because I'm not doing anything right now. But I'd like as many people as possible to see this last movie, and it's because I think it says everything I want to say about how we've structured our society when it comes to how we treat each other.